Welcome to Swing State University, a college golf and lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, James Boone, and joining us this week from North Carolina Central University, junior Jamal Hutchison. This is our last show of the fall season. As we head into 2026, we want to take the next month to prep and get some things in order before we launch into next year. And with that said, we just want to thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show. It's one of my favorites yet. A part of starting up a show like this is finding people that would, one, want to hop on the show, two, that, you feel like you would have a good time with. And at the beginning, it was pretty easy. Initially, you tap into your networks, you tap into, people that you already know. Once you exhaust your network, you're like, man, who else am I going to reach out to? For me, if you want to know my methodology, it was pretty simple. There's no formula of how to do this, but I would hang out on Clipped. And for those who are not familiar, Clipped is the place to find golf rankings. It's the place to find golf schedules, tournaments. Everyone's kind of moving to that platform, which happened about 2 years ago. So I was just playing on there one day. I was looking through tournaments early this fall, and I kept coming across a few tournaments. I'd see, a couple guys perform well. And then I came across this guy. I saw him finish second in a tournament, and you click on him, and then you look at his bio, and then you're like, okay, this dude finished fourth, second. And then in the next tournament, he goes and plays a match play and then beats the guy that he came second to 7 and 8 in a match play event at his home event. And so that catches your eye. You're like, okay, this dude can play. And then if you want to know the second part of my methodology, it's like, okay, one, can this guy play golf? And then two, you start doing some stalking. And this is where I'm unashamed about kind of where we're at this point, but you start getting on the socials, you start getting on Instagram, whatever. And then I find out there is a whole nother side of this guy that I'm, looking into, doing research on. And I was blown away. And I'm so excited for the listeners out there to get to hear about our next guest story. I want to introduce to the podcast today, junior from North Carolina Central, Jamal Hutchison. Thanks for hopping on, Jamal.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. It's my first podcast, so I'm excited.
Got to get those reps in. Honestly, got to get those reps in because I assure you this will not be your last podcast. So thank you so much for hopping on.
For sure.
If you go to Jamal's Instagram, and honestly, the biggest player in this is Jamal's dad. Shout out Robert Hutchison. But the one thing that I get to learn from following Jamal and then following a little bit of stuff that's been put out there is, man, one, the PGA Tour did a whole story about Jamal and him getting to hang out with Webb Simpson, do kind of like a day in the life video. Super cool video there. And then following Jamal's dad's account, you get to see a bit of, his upbringing. There's this whole warehouse that's like half golf, half basketball development training facility. And I'm so envious of the space that this dude grew up in. And so I think today we'll get to cover a little bit about stuff like that. But Jamal, to get us started, I would love to hear, what was your introduction to the game of golf? What did that look like for you?
I think it's pretty common introductory. My dad was always at the course. He would drop me off, do some work in the morning, then he'd be at the course all day. And then he'd pick me up from daycare, and then we'd go back to the course, hit some balls. So that's how I got into it. He played basketball in college, and then he got into the game when he turned about 30. So he fell in love with it, and I kind of just rode with him. Whenever he was out there, I was out there. I also played basketball growing up. I was pretty good at basketball, pretty good at golf, but I think I found a liking to golf a little bit more, and I was a little bit better. And also, I'm only 5'10" now, so I don't know if basketball would have worked out quite like golf. So I focused on golf probably right before I turned 10. Started playing tournaments, U.S. Kids, some Tar Heel Junior Golf Association, which is like North Carolina's junior, or Carolina's Golf Association tournaments. But yeah, I always loved golf. I had a huge issue when I was younger with putting. I'm actually pretty thankful for that because it kept me motivated, because I would be playing so good and I'd be hitting the ball so good, and then I couldn't putt. And I couldn't putt. This tournament I couldn't putt. And so I just grinded forever. That just kind of instilled the work ethic in me to keep going and going.
Backing up to your dad, can you talk about his transition into the game of golf and how that influenced you later in life?
Yeah, he played basketball in college. He played at Western Carolina. His knees were pretty bad. He stopped playing a little bit after college, got a job, and he was in the corporate world. Corporate and golf goes together really well. So he just found his way out to a course, fell in love with it like most all people do. And he just kept grinding. He wanted to learn everything he could about golf. He listened to every pro, every instructor. He watches a million videos and he just fell in love with the process of golf more than anything like that. He became a teacher. He had been coaching basketball ever since he got out of college, with one-on-one individual training, and golf came a little bit later after he started playing a lot and learning a lot. And by the time I was born, he knew quite a bit. So I had a great start from the beginning with just training and lessons and stuff like that. So it really jump started me.
For sure. You talk about the Carolinas Golf Association, which big shout out to them. They have one of the dopest Instagram accounts, social media presences that I've seen from a state golfer and account. They do such a good job with their account and media spaces. But you talk about growing up playing in those tournaments. At what point playing on that circuit in the Carolinas were you like, hey, you know what? I'm actually pretty good at this and I would like to keep pursuing this?
Yeah, about my freshman year, I always would play in like big CGA tournaments and like I'd have like one good round and then I'd fall off in the second round, or I'd have a bad round in the first round and shoot a great round, but I could never just put a full tournament together. And honestly, I didn't win that much as a junior golfer, but the fact that I was like always close, no matter how good or bad I played, I thought I was always close to where I could just flourish. So I just kept going and going and going and kept working. And honestly, the results didn't show in high school all that much. My junior year of high school was my biggest turning point. I was emailing some coaches, stuff like that, and they were saying I needed to have, for example, say a 73 scoring average for them to be interested in me. I had that in my head all the time. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna get there. And then I ended up that junior year summer, I averaged 71.3. And I was like, okay, I accomplished my goal and I
Yeah, I've
gotta,
arrived.
yeah. So I was like, okay, I know I can do it now. 'Cause that's when I was really like, okay, I'm built for this type of thing.
Around what time period was that? Was it, you said that was junior
That
year?
was my,
Senior?
my junior year, just after my junior year summer
Okay.
of high
Yeah.
school.
Okay. Junior year, summer out of high school, about the transition into senior year.
Yeah.
You talk about reaching out to coaches, and everyone's recruiting process looks a little bit different. Can you describe what went into, hey, these are the type of coaches that I'm going to reach out to? And then what kind of feedback did you receive? Now, obviously, some coaches were saying, hey, like, you got to get this down to 73 for us to be
Right.
able to look at you. What did that process look like? Dialoguing with coaches? What were the highs and lows of your recruiting journey?
Yeah. I'd say I was the type
Yeah.
to email any and every coach,
Yep.
no matter what, no matter if I love the school, like the school, didn't really like it, just because whatever my dad always taught me, even if you don't like the school, if you don't want to go there, like there's still connections there. There's still anything, there's still any type of possibility that could come from
For
any
sure.
type of reaching out. And honestly, I feel like I got good later on. I wouldn't say too late, but just a lot of like the bigger schools, like they kind of recruit off potential when they're like really good as they're younger. And I kind of flourished late. So I can't blame coaches for that, but I really didn't have much feedback. I had some coaches come out and watch me. Honestly, I don't really have any of the schools that I really, really wanted to go to. And that's fine. I knew what I was doing. And also like COVID had happened and they were giving out the extra year to people. So it just made it all a little complicated. But I didn't really get down on myself too bad just because I wasn't getting the attention I thought I should get or wanted. But yeah, it was still fun reaching out to coaches and you see the email pop up with their name and you get all excited. You
Yeah.
think you're getting an offer and all that. So I went through all the emotions just like every other
Yeah.
recruit.
Yeah. Being post college now, it's hopping on LinkedIn and then applying for a job, getting an email back and be
Yeah,
like, hey, we loved your stuff.
exactly.
Or we went with someone else. I've, talking to some other guys, the piece on, hey, I may have peaked, 3 months too late and how that can hinder I wouldn't even say hinder your whole process because like you said, it requires you to go somewhere else, connect with different people. And that's all part of your journey in the first place. But you're right. It's just such an interesting window. And then especially
Yeah,
for
exactly.
you think about 2020, getting that extra year, the pool gets so saturated. Tough time to come out for sure. Can you talk a little bit about your dad being a college athlete, playing basketball at Western Carolina? What kind of encouragement did he give you, in the recruiting process? What kind of advice was he giving that you found helpful?
Yeah, he kind of had the same kind of thing. He was good in high school. Went the junior college route. He played 1 year of junior college before he went to Western Carolina. So we kind of related in that sense. We didn't have all the stuff we wanted out of high school that you think you should get because you're playing
Sure.
good. So he was always encouraging. That's one thing really respected. He was always encouraging no matter what. And he never like forced me to my practice or work ethic. That was on me that wanted to do that. He always gave great advice about just college coaches, what they look for, and then in other ways outside of golf, like with
Yeah.
grades and how I present myself, like community service, stuff like that. Stuff that, coaches might look for even outside of golf, just to be
Yeah.
presentable as a athlete for their school.
For sure. For sure. This probably doesn't play into it. You talked about, hey, it's either just scores or not scores, which you got your scores down to 71 and maybe it's peaking too late. Maybe it could have been all these things, but I know growing up in Western Kentucky, I don't know if there's like a stigma, but like typically whether it's basketball or golf, like, people look at Lexington, Louisville as like, okay, maybe these are the hotbeds for where all the talent comes out of. Sometimes,
Right.
Western Kentucky can get overlooked. Having
Right.
spent time in Western North Carolina, I don't know if this was a piece of it. Maybe you can provide some color to it, but like I know in the basketball scene, it's people look at people at Western North Carolina on the hill. It's like we don't really know. It's like there's literally a whole continental divide between
Right.
Charlotte and Western North Carolina. Does that play into it at all, or do you think not?
Yeah, of course. There's
Yeah.
hotspots like Charlotte, Raleigh, Wilmington, just like hotspots. There's only one Division I school in the Asheville area, and it's UNC Asheville, and they don't even have a men's golf team.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's only women's. So there's no schools around that could just hear about me maybe on the news or something. I won't say I made it difficult, but I feel like it could have been maybe a little easier had I been in a more saturated town with schools or more talent. There was nobody really, like a couple other guys that had gone to like pretty big schools and stuff like that, but you don't really hear about Asheville junior golf a lot. So it might have made it a little difficult.
Yeah,
It was,
not enough to say that that's
yeah, not enough to
conclusive.
say
Yeah,
that was the complete issue, but it could have played into it for sure.
yeah, yeah. Just trying to stand out for the western halves of
Yeah.
our respective states. Kind of moving forward, can you talk about how'd you land at NC Central? What'd that look like for you?
Interesting story, actually. I had a golf camp that I was going to go to, a week-long camp. I'm in the airport and I'm just on my phone and I get a DM from the NC Central coach,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a girl at the time, and she said, "Hey Jamal, we're just reaching out. I wanted to see what your schedule looked like." And so I immediately called my parents. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like a school just reached out to me." Like, I didn't know much or anything about Central, and they're like, "The school reached out to me." I was like, "What do I say? What do I say?" I'm excited. So I outlined my schedule. I told her what I was playing in and what I had coming up and kind of some of my stats. And she was like, "Okay, we'll be in touch. Like, I'll maybe try to come out to watch." So I'm all excited. I'm most excited passenger on that plane. That made that week even better.
Where were you going?
I was going to the Congaree Global Golf Initiative,
Wow. Great
which is,
segue. Great segue. I had
yeah,
no
great.
idea. No, no idea.
That was probably the greatest week ever I could have in golf. We stayed on property. It was at that point the nicest hotel I'd ever been in. It was just cottages, villages, and the course was unbelievable, like sloping with sand and like fescue grass everywhere, and it was so pure. We had great mentors, great resources all week. They stocked the fridge every day, which I thought was incredible. And then we got to play as much golf as we wanted, and they gave us great lessons, life lessons. The only downside is we had to take a practice ACT, which I didn't like, but we got through it. Got to play some more golf.
And that is a very, I don't want to say cheap, but that was a good exchange. You're like, I will take
Yeah,
5 practice
yeah,
ACTs.
I'll take a practice so I can just play golf for the rest of the day. I still talk to all my friends from it, and I still talk to the leaders and the coaches from it. It was a great experience. I
That's
learned so
good.
much.
I saw Carolina's Golf Association make a post about it today. And that's honestly one thing that stuck out to me. And we'll get into you and Webb hanging out a little bit later. But yeah, I saw the Congaree logo and was like, whoa, like this dude knows ball. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just a super, super pure place. And just a privilege to get to play out there.
We also had some special guests. We had Adam Scott. He stopped by and he gave a clinic for us. I can't remember why he was there, but he stopped by to hit some balls, and they let us go out and watch him. Justin Hadley, a few other pros were there. It was sick.
That had to be maybe still one of the best weeks of your life that you've ever had. I just got reached out to by the school that I ended up going to play at. And then I'm going to go, spend the week at Congaree hanging out with tour pros. I'm sure it was nuts. segueing into that, you get the text, you get the call from coach and being like, "Hey, we'd love to come watch you," and stuff like that. At what point were you like, "Okay, yes, NC Central, that's where I wanna go?"
Yeah, so I got the text. I played that summer, that fall. We're still reaching out, texting back and forth. They had just played a tournament in Atlanta and came back, and it was, I don't know if you know, like HBCU homecoming week is one of the craziest weeks
Yeah.
you could ever go to.
Mm.
It's loud and everybody's preparing for the big game. There's parties all over the place. People are going crazy. So I scheduled my official visit during that week. So it was I got the whole college experience just in a visit. And there was music playing everywhere I went. There's people dancing everywhere I went. Everybody was outside. So I was like, is it like this all the time? And they're like, no, it's just homecoming. I took the visit. I met the team, great group of guys, funny, relaxed, and
Yeah.
they were very open to me. They talked to me. They gave me all the information I needed. I was talking to another school in North Rhine and Hickory at the time. I was down to those two schools. I had previously took a visit to Orion before that, and I enjoyed my time there too. I'm meeting Coach Gailey at the time, and yeah, I then come down to those two. Coach kind of gave me an ultimatum, like on this day, we'll need to know your decision. And I'd kind of been leaning towards Central. The funny thing is, my family, like my mom, my dad, thought I was for sure leaning towards Lenore Ryan the whole
Yeah.
time.
Closer to home, Hickory, North Carolina, shout
Yeah,
out.
closer to home. Yeah, just some other things, and they thought I was going there because I kind of played it off like I really enjoyed it, and I was like, "That's the place I'm going." Oh my gosh! But I kind of told her I was like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to Central." And like, "Oh, really?" And then on that day, I told her I was going to Central. Toughest part was having to call Coach Gailey from the North Rhine. I kept putting it off. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. When I ended up having to go and do it, then
Yeah.
I called. I told him I couldn't.
Yeah. Hey, those phone calls will put some hair on your chest, having to tell
Yeah,
people, hey, like,
actually.
yeah, I remember same deal, like, with delaying.
Mhm.
I'd committed to where I was gonna go, and then I hop on the phone. I had to make 3 phone calls and be like, "Hey, sorry, I ended up going somewhere else." And then one of the coaches was like, "Well, why?" And I was like,
Oh
I
no.
don't know, I'm 18, I don't know."
Oh my gosh. Wow. I don't know what I would have done with a why. A why. I
You're like, "Homecoming weekend, that's why." Uh
don't-
We have, at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, we have, schools play every year. We had Pine Bluff, and then I think it was
Okay.
Jackson State this year
Yeah.
come in and play, so it's always a fun weekend.
Yeah.
Now, we get to the point of, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm going to North Carolina Central," Nor Ryan, really awesome relationship there, but end up going to NCCU. What did that freshman year look like, that transition from high school to college?
Yeah. The high school I went to was actually boarding school. I didn't live on campus. I lived at home, but all my friends were boarders there. And the schedule I had was honestly like college. Like I didn't have some classes every day. I didn't have class at 8 a.m. every day. It was Christ School in Arden. And it prepared me really well for college, at least the school part. Now, the golf part, I was playing a lot more than I was in high school. We played about 4 times a week. And if it wasn't that, we were practicing, like, balancing schoolwork, stuff like that. It was a little different, but I feel like I adjusted well. And my first tournament actually ended up being the co-medalist. I shot my first ever bogey-free round was in college. And my first ever round was 68, 4 under bogey-free. I followed up.
Literally. Yeah, what a
Yeah,
start to your college career.
yeah, what a start. I could only go downhill from there.
But then,
Yeah, yeah,
up later. That's
yeah, it
so
was a
good.
dream start to college.
Yeah, so at that point, you're feeling yourself. Can you lay out what the rest of your freshman year looked like?
Yeah, next tournament I played, it was all right. I had like one blow up hole that kind of derailed me from the tournament. And then the next tournament was the Bridgestone HBCU Invitational. I ended up coming in third place. I was 1 over for 2 days. I thought I shot 3 over, then 2 under. After that tournament, a lot of stuff started happening for me. In January, a couple months after that, I ended up getting a call or email saying that I got invited to the Bridgestone Invitational in Napa, California, which is like one of the premier college events. So I got invited to there from the other Bridgestone tournament, which I was very, very happy about.
Yeah.
I also got a call in January about a potential link up with Webb Simpson on the PJ Tour Instagram. I was just sitting in my car. My mom had picked me up. I think we were going somewhere, and my coach called me and she was like, "Yeah, Webb Simpson's agent just just called me. She was like, they want to give you like this NIL deal type thing. And first she just said NIL deal. And I was like, oh, okay, like I get an NIL deal. Like, that's nice. It's good. Yeah. I was like, me? Well, I did exactly like that. I was like, me? I got an NIL deal. She was like, yeah, but she didn't really explain too much into it because they didn't give her that much information at the time. And then she ended up calling me back a couple of days later. She was like, yeah, they want you for this video. You and Webb are gonna be hanging out basically all day, and they're gonna ask you about your journey and about college and everything. And I was shocked. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I wanted to tell everybody when my parents were like, no, no, don't tell everybody. Like, just let us figure it out first. But yeah, so
So you had played 3 college tournaments at this point,
yeah,
and
and I
then you're
got
already getting reached out to by
I
Webb
got
Simpson.
two of the biggest reach outs I could get. It was crazy. So yeah, so I played Savannah and I played in Miami and then I played in Myrtle Beach and then we played in Puerto Rico, which
Wow.
was my second greatest week of golf. They took the whole team, all 17 players from both teams, and we played an event in Puerto Rico at the Grand Reserve Club the week after the Puerto Rico Open. So the course was in unreal shape. They still had all the grandstands up, so it looked like you were playing in a tournament. I'd never been out of the continental United States before, so it was one of the most fun weeks ever. And I ended up playing pretty decent, so that made it even better. Immediately come back from Puerto Rico and I go straight to California, and I ended up getting really sick because I went
Mm,
from like 90 and dead sunny to 60 and raining
mm.
in California. And I got really sick the first day of the tournament, the Bridgestone, and I didn't play my best in the tournament, but I played a lot. I was pretty exhausted, everything. That next week, I went and I did my thing with Webb Simpson. It was at Quail Hollow. It was right before the Wells Fargo Championship. So the course was in pristine shape. I showed up and it was the Ford brothers, David and Maxwell, and then Rachel Keene. And then I was there too.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was talking with Webb before the thing, and we got into the interviews, and they asked me about my college career and how I got into golf and stuff. And yeah, that was one of the greatest days of my life in golf. Play a great course with a great guy,
Yeah.
Webb, and just memories.
Which, for those listening, go to Jamal's Instagram account, and I think it's on one of your stories or something like that.
Yeah, it's on my highlights. Jamal Hutch underscore, and it's PGA Tour highlight. It's
Mhm,
about I think it's like a slide through video,
mhm.
and it's me and Webb Simpson hanging out.
It's such a cool video. It's cool hearing you and him dialogue, which obviously I'm sure they had to clip a lot of it. There's
Yeah, they clipped a lot of it.
a lot of yeah.
There were some bad shots that I hit that they clipped out too, which I'm proud of.
Well, there was a lot of Webb being like, "Yo, this dude's swing."
Yeah,
Basically, the
yeah.
whole edit is like gassing you up, which is so valid. Most people know this, but Webb's an incredible guy. What was it just dialoguing with him, hanging out with him, offset? What was that like?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, he was just asking me about the stuff I had going on before we even got into the video.
Mhm,
So he got really familiar with me. Great guy. He really wanted to learn more about me before we got
mhm.
into the thing, and he was giving me some great advice. I had asked a couple of questions, golf questions, life questions, mental questions, all that, and he was willing to open and willing to help. I still am in contact with his agent all the time, and we talk. I wave at him all the time when I see him at PJ Tour events, and we talk. But yeah, no, he's a great guy. One of the greatest guys I could ask for to be on a video with.
For sure. It's a really sick video. If y'all have a chance, check it out. Kind of backing up, we didn't even talk about this. Summer of 2023, you got a huge event in Western North Carolina, Skyview Am. So there's dudes who've come through and won that have had great professional careers. HV3 came through and won that back
Uh,
whenever he was coming up. Can you talk about the Skyview and what that did to your confidence heading into your freshman year?
Yeah, I'd always watched the Skyview growing up, even when I was young. They had a little junior tournament. I won that when I was probably like 12 or 13, but they discontinued it. And so I played it every year. I think I finished fifth or sixth in the year before. And then this year I got off to a good start. I shot 68 the first round, 73 the second round, and then 69 the last round. So it was tight down the stretch. I had notoriously been a bad closer, so I didn't really let those thoughts get in my head, but it's always like been something I struggled with. But I was able to close it out. I went by 2 shots, and that gave me a huge confidence boost going into my freshman year.
Like, do you credit some of that, those early success, win at the Skyview, first win out of college, finished third in your third event in college? Do you credit any of that to practice plans that you kind of grew up working through?
Yeah, this plan was just hit balls to your hands bled, basically.
Mhm.
If it was the summer, my dad would drop me off, leave me a few dollars to go eat, and I'd be out there all day, be me and my friend or me and my friends, and we'd be hitting balls all day. We hit balls at a junior ring for $5, pay $5, you go walk and play. But eat, yeah, we'd just be out there all day. And then my dad would come after he'd get done working and then just see what I've been working on. My dad was really good. I feel like he was a really good teacher. Some dads are like really overbearing. They live through their kid. Like they kind of play like they're the ones playing. But my dad was kind of held back and he let me do not what I wanted to do, but he let me be me in my game. And he was just there giving me lessons and tips when I needed it. And so it was just kind of go out there and figure it out type thing. But with me and him together, we weren't too technical in anything. I really feel like I'm the least technical guy in college golf. Could help and could hurt. Yeah, it's kind of just natural born, and we just worked on my natural swing and game forever, and I'm just polishing it now.
Can you talk a little bit about your development from freshman, sophomore, junior year? You talk about being a self-made player, but can you talk about how you've been able to progress over the last 2 years?
Yeah. For sure. And right after that Webb Simpson thing, I played like garbage for the rest of the year. I had the worst driver yips in the history. I could not find a fairway to save my life. We played a great schedule in the spring. We played App State. We played NC State's tournament was like the biggest tournament probably ever. They had all Power Fives. I don't know how we got into that, but there's a million Power Fives and then us. But yeah, I struggled with my driver. I was hitting it. It wasn't even out of play. It was just in the trees and the water. When the water's out of play, but it would just be in the worst spots. And then it'd be rounds where I'd hit like 5 awful drives, and then I'd be in the rough, and I'd hit 3 fairways and make 3 birdies from the fairway. And that's just a horrible way to play golf. And I'm like scared on every tee box. I'm like, which way is this gonna go? But yeah, so I had to figure that out. Which I did in the summer. I worked on my driver, on my swing so much. That was probably the most technical I've ever been. I was like, I really have to figure this out. And I changed up my equipment a little bit. I was really like set on figuring out. And start of my sophomore year, it got a little better. Like my driver was pretty good now, but just stuff just wasn't going right for me. Like it was just be like all situational. Like I'd have a good round going, make a double, hit one out of bounds, but I'd hit 12 fairways and just hit one out of bounds, and that would break my whole round. So I felt like it was just so situational in the rounds I was playing in the fall, and then worked my butt off, and over the winter, and I found in the spring. I played Savannah. We played in Savannah, same tournament I did my freshman year. I ended up, I was 2 under. The third round got canceled, but I was playing well. And then I went to Miami the next week, and then I ended up winning. I was 4 under for 3 rounds. I ended up winning that one, and I ended up getting on Lagger after that. So now that's another thing I'm infatuated on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to play in this so I can go up and go up. And I played pretty decent for the rest of the spring, and I was all tournament team, and then I was second team all conference. So it was good to get those awards, and that gave me confidence going into this year. Even during this summer, I hadn't been playing my best, but I found it towards the end of the summer. I was putting together good rounds. I played in the Triad Amateur. I finished second in that. Made a little pro shop money, and yeah, I just had a lot of confidence coming into this season. And we went to Delaware for the first event. Pretty good field. Came in 4th in that. And then we came back home. We went to Atlanta. I ended up coming in 2nd. I lost by 1. Kind of had a chance down the stretch. Kind of didn't. I did have a chance, but it wasn't like I sold or anything. And last championship, was playing with the eventual winner, and it was pouring down rain. It was terrible weather. It was cold, and not really a day that you gain a lot of strokes. And I kind of started pretty far back. He played really solid. I'd lost by 3, came in 2nd though. So 4th, 2nd, 3 good events. Never gonna complain about that. We ended up matching up in a match play. Same guy I lost to the tournament before. It was like 3 days later, we
Mhm.
mashed up a match play. And I'm like, oh no, okay, I can't lose this one. I can't lose to him twice. And I ended up having a great day. I made 8 birdies on 11 holes, and I closed him out on hole 12. Yeah, he was laughing after that. Like, there's nothing I could have done. Like he was even
Yeah.
par, and I was 7 under through 11 holes. Yeah,
Mhm.
I ended up closing him out. That felt pretty good. Not like get back, but like just to prove I could do it.
And I think what's encouraging about that is literally the tournament before. And I could be wrong on this, but you set the record for 54-hole scoring at NC Central, and so it wasn't like you played bad at all. It's like you played super solid.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
broke the scoring record for NC Central. It was 210 previously, I think, and I was
Hmm.
shot 208 for 3 rounds. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like I played bad. It was just his week.
What are you most excited about heading into the spring? And then what does the winter look like for you in terms of practice?
Yeah, very excited for the spring. The winter, it's kind of tough to be out on the course. It gets cold in the mountains. It's gonna be snowing
Mm.
a lot. Thankfully, me and my dad have, like the studio that we've had for a few years now that we can go grind in when it's cold, when it's raining. Interesting story about that. He had drove by this property like all the time, just going about, and he was interested in it because at the time he was renting out another gym to coach basketball, and it was getting expensive, like you got to spend money to make money. And he just wanted his own spot that he wouldn't have to rent out or look at times for. And they kept denying him over and over again. They're like, you're never going to get this property. Like, owners are never going to sell it. And then one day he got to talking with the owners, and my dad could talk to anybody. So, yeah, I should have.
Shout out to Rob.
Yeah, he'll talk to any and everybody. So
So,
he did his thing. They eventually sold it to him, and he spent years working on it. He built that whole building from the ground up, basically
mm,
by himself. And yeah, I've helped a little bit, but he did most of it all. And now we have a indoor hitting simulator and a basketball court just to the side of it, and an
yeah.
office up top. It's pretty nice. If you're ever in town, you got to come check it out.
I will, for sure. Like anytime I'm up at Montreat catching a game, shout out to Anthony Behringer if you're out here, AB if you're listening, Ben McRickard, my guys up at Montreat.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, Caroline and I would love to come swing by and see the studio. We love
Full
that.
swing in there, full swing kit in there now. So
I
through
think,
some
yeah.
cool.
Hey, honestly let's do
Both.
that for
It's
sure, for
your
sure.
both your
I
worlds.
I think what's so cool about it, just seeing some highlights from your dad's Instagram, is just how it feels like a revolving door. It seems like you could have anybody in there on any given day
Oh yeah,
doing training, hitting golf balls. Like it's a super communal space, which I thought was really cool about it.
yeah. It's great. So we'll be in there all in there grinding out. We'll work out in there too.
Hmm.
It's got to keep fitness up. It's holiday season, eating a lot, so you got to keep the weight down.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, we'll be in there grinding. And then in the spring, we got a pretty good schedule in the spring.
Yeah.
Play some pretty good tournaments. So I'll be hopefully ready for that. Try to just keep keep doing what I'm doing right now.
You feel good about getting into the six pack, swing state six
Oh, of
pack?
course. Yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right. So everybody listen, this is our last swing state six pack of the fall. We're going to take a little bit of a break before we head into 2026. Let you guys enjoy your holiday season. And we'll start game planning and brewing up some stuff for the spring. But Jamal Hutchison joining us for our last swing state six pack
Let's
of the
go.
fall season. Jamal, you ready to get going?
Ready, I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, Jamal. Favorite course you've ever played?
Whistling Straits.
When'd you play out there?
I played this May, actually. We had a tournament out there.
How was it?
Cold, windy, and apparently only like 2 weeks out of the year, they have these like horse flies. There's billions, trillions of them everywhere. And that just so happened to be one of the weeks. They had horse flies everywhere. Everywhere you went, there was flies in your face. And it was, I mean,
Yeah.
I still love the place. It felt like I was playing on the ocean, but it was
Mhm.
just like Michigan. But yeah, that was probably one of my favorite golf experiences ever.
Favorite course you've never played?
A lot of people would say Augusta. I think mine would probably be Pebble, honestly. Pebble's kind of almost like Whistling Straits. It's on the water. I'd love to play Pebble one day.
Dream foursome.
Okay, it'd be me, my dad, Tiger, and Michael Jordan.
Solid. Explain that.
Just like that's two of the most
One-
high mental people of all time, like super competitive, highly driven. Like I feel like I would just get a lot out of it. Like I know Michael Jordan wouldn't be that good, but like he would still be as competitive as anybody in the group. And then my dad, no, he grew up playing. Like he's the reason I got into it. He would kind of deserve to play with those two guys. Tigers, the reason my dad got into golf. So everybody wants to play with Tigers.
I love that. Webb Simpson, no shade, bro. No shade, Webb. We
Yeah,
love
no,
you.
you can join us on the back nine.
That's perfect. That's
Join us
perfect.
on the back
That's
nine.
perfect. Yes, that's perfect. The course will allow that, I believe. Where will y'all play? If that foursome is playing, where are y'all gonna play?
Augusta. Tigers getting us on Augusta.
Yeah. I like that. Let's go.
I'd say Jackson Coyvin, honestly. The dude
Yeah.
plays so much on tour. You think he's a tour player. Like, whenever he's there, I'm like, I always want him to win just because, like, it'd be crazy if a college player won, like Nick Dunlap did. If it wasn't him, probably Scotty Scheffler. I just love the dominance. Like, I'd want him to win every week, just be like, wow, like, he's killing these dudes. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's solid. Have you ever met Jackson?
I haven't. We play a course here in, like, it's like Chapel Hill area, which is like where he lives now. That his house is on there.
Favorite club in your bag?
Probably my 58 degree. I always lay up to like the full number of the 58. I feel like every time I hit it, I always look up and it's like right at it, which is like a great feeling. Now the distance might always be right. I feel like I hit some of my best shots with my 58.
All right, let's go last one. Oh, like you've won your fair share of tournaments.
Yeah.
You've won a match play this past year. You've won a couple tournaments sophomore year, freshman year. I don't know what this looks like regularly for you, but whenever you win a tournament, what you do afterwards. But I'd love to know, where are you going to celebrate? Where are you going out to eat once you win your next tournament?
See, my team, if I win a college tournament, we're definitely going to Chipotle just because that's just what the team we want to do. But for me, I'd probably go to Texas Roadhouse and eat 50 rolls. Bread and just go crazy.
We started the fall season with the Texas Roadhouse celebratory win, and we're also going to finish it with the Roadhouse celebratory win. I feel like that's only right. That's the only right way to finish out the year.
Texas Roadhouse. I'm open to any sponsorships. I'll accept payment in rolls.
Jamal, I think we could talk forever. Like next time I'm up in Western North Carolina, I'm pulling up. Meet the fam, see the compound, and get to hang out. But dude, thank you so much for hopping on. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a great experience.
Absolutely. All right, bro. Take care.
Yeah, you too.